When picking up a load from ground level with a low-lift walkie, line your truck up with the center of the load and approach it straight on. Slowly move forward until the load is against the load backrest and the front wheels are not on the pallet support, but free to lift the pallet. The forks must be at least 2/3 the length of the load. Lift the load. Make sure the load is stabilized. Check for pedestrians and potential hazards before traveling. When picking up a load from the ground with a masted walkie, line your truck up with the center of the load and approach it straight on. Position the forks so they move safely under the load. Move forward until the load is against the load backrest. If your truck is equipped with a reach mechanism, extend the forks into the pallet until the load is against the load backrest. Remember, the forks must support at least 2/3 the length of the load. Lift the load 4 to 6 inches off the ground. If the truck has a reach mechanism that has been extended, make sure the reach is retracted and the load is stabilized. Check for pedestrians and potential hazards before traveling. When placing a load on the floor with a masted walkie, first, come to a complete stop. Level the forks, then slowly lower the load. If your truck is equipped with a reach mechanism, extend it to place the load. Once the load is in position, continue lowering the forks until the pallet is on the ground. The forks must be low enough to clear the load without catching on the pallet as they are being pulled out. Then retract the extend mechanism. To remove a load from a high stack or rack with a masted walkie, first stop directly in front of the stack. Make sure the forks are lined up with the stack. The forks should be spread so that they are as far apart as possible for the load you're about to lift. When spreading the forks, always push the forks away from you, not towards you. Raise the mast until the forks can safely enter the pallet. Move forward until the load is against the load backrest. The forks must support at least 2/3 the length of the load. Make sure the load is stable before you attempt to lift it. If the truck has a reach mechanism, retract it. If the forks are longer than the load's length, inch forward until the fork tips are even with the back edge of the load. Lift the load. Look behind you and back out until the load clears the rack or stack. Then lower the load 6 to 8 inches above the floor. Tilt the load back, check behind you, and always travel in the direction of greatest visibility. Moving with an elevated load is very dangerous, so make sure you lower the load as soon as you clear the rack or stack. Make sure not to turn the truck while the forks are raised. Always operate with one hand on the controls and walk ahead and to the side of the handle when traveling forward with the load trailing. To place the load on a rack or stack with a masted walkie, approach the rack carefully. Raise the load just above the top of the rack or stack and then move forward slowly until the load is lined up over the rack or stack. If your truck is equipped with a reach mechanism, extend it. Level your forks and lower them until the load is in position on the rack or stack. Lower the forks slightly so that you can back up without the forks catching on the load. If the truck has a reach mechanism, retract it. Look in reverse for pedestrians and potential hazards, then back out carefully to clear the rack. Lower the forks, then proceed at a safe speed with the lift mechanism trailing. Let's now go over some important safety rules to follow when operating Class 3 lift trucks. Motorized hand trucks are designed for use on hard, smooth floors such as concrete and on very low grades. They are not intended for operation on grades greater than 10%. So ask your supervisor about grades before traveling on them. Check your operating manual to see if your motorized hand truck can be operated on ramps and inclines. You should never attempt to turn your truck on a ramp or incline. The center of gravity can be moved outside the stability triangle and the truck may tip over. Always approach an intersection or cross aisle slowly, keeping an eye out for pedestrians and other trucks. Come to a complete stop and look both ways. Sound the horn and then proceed with caution at a slow travel speed, always maintaining a safe distance between the lift truck and pedestrians and other vehicles. You should also check with your supervisor or company safety director for additional safety procedures for your facility. You may, on occasion, load or unload a trailer or rail car with a motorized hand truck. If so, there are additional safety precautions you must be aware of. Make sure the highway truck, trailer, or rail car is secure. This means that the operator should check to make sure the highway truck or trailer brakes are applied and that the wheels are chocked to prevent any movement of the truck or trailer. Fixed jacks may be necessary to support the front and rear of the trailer to prevent it from tipping during loading or unloading. Some trailers are designed with built-in stabilizers. It's important that you make sure the trailer being loaded or unloaded is properly supported and secured before entering it with a lift truck. This is especially important if the trailer has been disconnected from the highway truck. Rail cars should be disconnected from the engine and brakes set. Make sure that the dock and trailer floors are level enough to allow the truck to enter and exit the trailer without interference. Then check that the trailer floor is strong enough to bear the weight of the loaded lift truck. Check for cracks, breaks, and weak spots. Make sure the dock board is secured and in good working condition. Also check that the dock board capacity can support the lift truck and its load. If operating a high lift walkie, make sure the trailer or rail car is tall enough to allow for the height of the mast. If the mast on your truck is not equipped with free lift capabilities, you must be especially careful. Although the trailer may be tall enough to accommodate the mast when it is down, you'll have to make sure that the mast does not begin to extend into the top of the trailer or rail car when raising the forks. Here are some guidelines when working in a freight elevator. 1. Know the combined weight of your truck and the load and do not exceed the elevator's capacity. 2. Never allow pedestrians in the elevator when you enter or leave with the truck. 3. Enter slowly. 4. Position the truck in the center of the elevator. 5. Fully lower the load. 6. Turn off the power. 7. Set the parking brake. And 8. When using a motorized hand truck, drive into the elevator, load first. If the lift truck is used to elevate anyone other than the operator, you must use an approved safety platform. The platform must be equipped with safety railings, a solid floor, and a screen or bars separating the platform and the moving parts of the mast. Be sure the platform is secured to the lift truck. Before allowing anyone to get on the platform, lift and lower the carriage slowly with the platform attached to make sure the mast is functioning properly. Before concluding this portion of our program, let's briefly go over a few parking procedures. When parking, bring the truck to a complete stop. If you are operating a high lift walkie, fully lower the carriage and forks. If the truck is equipped with the tilt function, tilt the mast forward until the tips of the forks touch the ground. If it has a reach attachment, make sure the forks are retracted. Make sure the controls are in the neutral position and return the handle to the vertical position to apply the brake. Turn the key to the off position and remove the key. Never park your lift truck so that it limits access to fire aisles, stairways, and fire equipment. If you are parking a high lift reach or straddle truck on an incline, place blocks on the downside of the wheels so that the lift truck cannot move. This concludes the classroom portion of your Class 3 lift truck operator training. Remember, Lift trucks are powerful, unique industrial equipment and can become dangerous if operated by an untrained operator. If you have questions about the proper operation of your lift truck, refer to the operating manual that's supplied with your truck. Now, your trainer will lead you in the practical training portion of the program. Listen to your trainer and ask questions if you don't understand any part of the program.